Well, I get the privilege of introducing our second speaker, my good friend Tim Dimoff. Tim, I'm sorry that you have to follow Riley. Wasn't she fantastic? But I know that you're going to do great, Tim. You're a fantastic speaker, and I'm excited to hear what you're going to share with us today. If you don't know Tim, he is a multi-certified, award-winning, and internationally recognized security and HR management consultant, speaker, author, media commentator, and expert witness. You may have heard him on WAKR. How many of you have listened to him on the radio? He is a frequent speaker on current security events and provides safety tips and speaks on hot topics. Tim is the president and founder of Sachs Consulting and Investigative Services, a high-risk HR and security consulting and investigation firm located right here in Akron, Ohio. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Tim to the stage. Come on up. As he makes his way up, my 10-year-old does have a dad joke for you.
Oh, good.
Okay, so in the spirit of AI, why was the computer cold?
Why was the computer
Cold.
cold? Didn't have no hot leads.
It didn't have what?
Hot leads.
Hot leads? Oh, that's a good
Go ahead.
one. Okay, because it left windows open.
Oh. How about a round of applause for her jokes? And I know, Riley, you're over there with your parents, and I just want to say, her parents got to be proud. And AI has told me that the fruit does not fall far from the tree, and we need to give those parents another. And Dr. Hamdani and Chaz just did a great job. And as I was listening, I thought, oh, heck, we can just tie into all this. And they covered several bases for me, so this is all going to fit real well. As I was sitting there, I was listening to this is just great information. But my biggest concern was they were standing at a podium. I had 20 years in law enforcement with the Akron Police and then the Federal Task Force. And I got to tell you, with all my training, I absolutely cannot stand still or behind a podium because I know a target that sits still is easy to hit. And I thought about it for 50. I went over there and I said, I hope you got a walking mic. I mean, it'll destroy my presentation if I got to hug that podium. And they go, oh, no, we got it. So you're going to see me walk back and forth. You're going to see me use my hands a lot, and feel free to, ask any questions and everything. Now, before I get off this stage, if you remember anything, just make sure in the end that I explain to everybody in this room the code. And I'll get to it at the end. But you must not walk out of here with the code information that I'm going to give you. And the reason is it's a system, it's simple, but my company, we invented it, we push it out nationally, and it is a solid solution to the negative AI that is going on, and I'll explain a little later as we move along. Let me start here. We already went over what artificial intelligence is. Chad had a great thing, but he's right. It simulates human behavior, thinking, and can be trained to solve specific problems. So we know that. Since the birth of technology, all technology has the potential for good or bad. When AI first came out, I was like everybody in this room, and I thought, oh my God. And we initially thought about all the negative aspects of AI. And in fact, let's be honest, initially AI scared us. It made us nervous. We worried about the impact in the workplace, the impact in home, the impact socially. I mean, our initial reaction was, wow. this is dangerous. This is scary. I know in the security field, we were concerned about AI. But as time goes on, changes in our society, changes in our history have shown us that AI being huge in the history of mankind, we can use it to our benefit, which I'll explain. But I want to give you a great example of how we can get through this, and it's just another phase in our life. I want to take you back to over 100 years ago. Remember, over 100 years ago, what did we have? What was the main thrust of transportation work and engagement? And the answer is horses. Think about over 100 years ago. The people rode horses. They used the horses to plow fields. They pulled wagons. They were the key to transportation, the key to product delivery, the key to moving on and discovering new land, okay? Horses were the center of our society. And then someone invented the horseless carriage. And when that horseless carriage, the car, came out, what do you think their response and reaction was? Oh my God, this thing is going to replace horses. And then they said, what about the jobs? Are we going to get rid of blacksmiths? People that take care of the health? People that feed it? People that build troughs? People that produce food for horses? It went right down the whole thing. And it's the best example I can give you of a transition that was equal to what AI is. Just mind-boggling, worrying, and fear. Oh, and we're going to lose all those jobs. And, so panic set in. But in time, we got over it. I mean, we still have horses and uses, but this is just another example of that. And every example in history is the same thing. When computers came out, when cell phones came out, when the internet came out. The internet's the best thing that ever happened, and it's also the worst thing that's ever happened. It's increased some tremendous amount of problems, but it's also solved problems, So be thinking about that. So there was a phone call made to a head of payroll specialist in a very large company. And he was told, hey, this is the boss. Yeah, I know I'm down in Florida. And my God, I forgot, and I just got a phone call. We forgot to transfer this money to this company in our partnership. And he goes, I need you to take action. I need you to call a board together. We need to Zoom in together, get on Teams or Zoom. We need to have a miniature board meeting. And we need to approve this money transfer. I'm down here. We need to do that today or tomorrow. So the boss said, hey, I'll have everybody join in. They picked a time, and the board came up, and they all were on the big screen, right? And the boss was there, and he was talking, and the financial guy was there. Anyway, they voted to transfer $1.5 million to this company for the project they had. Okay? Now imagine 6 board members, head financial, and the boss from Florida, all on this, all talking, and they went through the whole gamut, and they approved $1.5 million to be transferred. All of it was AI generated. All of it was false. That money got transferred. They didn't even know till 3 days later that it was fake. And the power of AI in a negative way is so immense. But that could have been prevented. There's ways to prevent it, which we'll get into. But how did they get that info? The boss is on the internet talking about what? Me and my family, we're down in Florida. The company website talks and brags about the major project they had with company ABC. And that it was, X amount of $1 million partnership. So social media gave them all what we call the feeding points. And they put it together. And then the board members all are what? Other presidents and CEOs and members of businesses. And they were able to capture their photo and their voice off the internet and recreate it. It was a phenomenal fraud. And they then put it together on a board. In the end, I'll tell you how that could have been stopped. But I just want to point out those kind of things are the things that we got to be concerned about, because we got to fight the good with the bad, and we don't want it to get ugly. We have to figure out how to stay competitive. Social media is dangerous. It is helpful too. As much as AI can harm you, AI can help you, And our previous speakers talk about the negative, but they also talked about the positive, what you got to do. So, just to give you a feel, revenue from AI, $216 billion worldwide. 37% of the organization have implemented it. It's growing. Customer interaction is growing exponentially. So is AI going to take over making your decisions? Will it control our daily lives? It's like anything else. A cell phone controls our daily lives bigger than anything. Social media, computers. But we always have the option and the ability to not let it totally control and to put safeguards in. But we as humans have to remember, we have to create and stay with human safeguards, which, previous speakers have already talked about some of those, and we'll get into that. So how do people feel about AI? 45% are still concerned and excited. 18 are more excited. 37 are more concerned. It's still up in the air. It's still a gray area. It's still a debate. Here's the one thing, though. It's not going away. Doesn't matter. It's not going away. It's here. So at first, I was really concerned and fearful. Now I'm converting over and I'm embracing it. And I'm embracing it with learning what do I got to do to counterbalance it. And, people are worried about loss of jobs, privacy, etc. You go back, remember in the 70s when the ATM machines were invented? They said back in the 70s, oh my God, we're going to put all these ATM machines in and we're going to eliminate jobs. We're going to lose jobs. Banks are going to close. Guess what? More banks opened up and they hired more tellers since the 70s. Because even though ATM is a convenient thing that you can do, it also created a counterbalance, and contrary to belief, no, they opened up more banks and they hired more tellers as a result of that. That doesn't mean AI and everywhere. AI is eliminating some jobs. If you take simple stuff like a nail gun, take a nail gun. What does a nail gun do for a roofing company? It eliminates a job or two. Why? Because you want to take a hammer and hold a nail and hammer? Or do you want to go right down the line? How many people do you not need if you can increase the efficiency and the speed and accuracy with a nail gun? You know, no one complained that a nail gun replaced jobs. I'm here to tell you that through the history of the world, we keep creating new things. And those new things keep replacing some jobs. They also create new jobs, okay? One thing for sure, AI is increasing the load for attorneys and law firms. Chad's excited about it, you know? I mean, this guy was up here doing jumping jacks over at AI. He's got plenty of business, you know? You don't see Chad and his people complaining, and there's other attorneys in that. Everything that's invented does create new jobs, and it does get rid of jobs, and it does change the efficiency of jobs. The key here with AI and all technology is we got to figure out the positives and the pros on it, and we can't worry about it's eliminating jobs. We've been eliminating jobs with technology for over 200 years. Look, if the caveman didn't invent a round stone into a tire, it would never advance. I mean, we can go all the way back to hundreds, thousands of years. So, people likes and dislikes is up there. I can talk about facial recognition, and it has its pros and cons, fact checking, medical problems, driverless vehicles, what's the advantage there, customer service, all sorts of things. We're going to see pros and cons from AI and everything else that's invented. So once again, we need to embrace it. Siri and Alexa have its pros and cons and all that, social media, spam, customer service. You know, a lot of people like just going on the internet and being able to go to Amazon or somewhere and order their stuff and have it delivered to their door. That's a convenience of AI. You know, is it eliminating jobs? Well, some people will say, well, you know, AI eliminates jobs. How many more truck drivers and delivery people do you think were created because you could order it through AI on the internet? It created a whole bunch of more jobs, and they're good paying jobs. And how many warehouses popped up because of that? So once again, you know, we have to look at that positive. So what are some of the advantages? Low error compared to humans. Yeah, you get a lot more accuracy. A lot of these jobs that are being replaced are repetitive jobs, boring jobs, repetitive jobs. You know, in the security industry, AI is really an effective tool. How many of you have a charge card and you get a call by the security, 1-800-SECURITY? And they go, we just had a purchase of $455 in Hawaii. Are you in Hawaii? Have you ordered something from Hawaii? No, I did not. And slam dunk, that order never goes through. You never get charged. You don't have the headache of seeing it a month later, having to go through the headaches of saying, that isn't me, I didn't order that. You know, so AI, for every negative, there's a positive on it. And in the security industry, believe me, we're able to fight security fraud much better because of AI. The criminals are really happy about AI and what they can do with it, but they're equally very upset right now because we're countering in the security law enforcement with AI tools that makes it harder for them. I will tell you, in the last 5 years, the criminals are having a harder time being able to do it. But do you want to know why the criminals increase? The majority of the increase is taking place. Everybody goes, oh, that's because of AI. No, it's not. You know why criminals have increased their ability? Human error. Your mom and dad get the phone call that their granddaughter's in France. She got arrested. It was a mix-up at a party. She needs $3,000 wired. That's human error. They go, oh, I want to help you. They capture her voice. It sounds like her. And grandma and grandpa, they want to transfer the money. We are now training every bank teller in the United States to recognize older senior citizens coming in and transferring any large sum of money above, really, $500. Whose parents or grandparents in here, older, that you know have transferred large sums of money? They don't do that. Our parents and grandparents are grown up for what? Hang on to their money. So when they come in and want to transfer $5,000, the teller says, whoa, wait a minute. What are you doing that for? In the last 3 months, romantic scams, and I can't get over this. In the last couple months, I've had 3 romantic scams that we investigated from 3 ladies who, dating sites, they're older. They come from a generation where what? We trust. A handshake is our contract. We kiss babies, we celebrate, we love our family. We don't distrust anybody. We didn't grow up that way. So they get on there on a dating site and they start talking and talking for a couple months. These criminals do what they call grooming. Grooming is just get to know, be sweet, don't ask for money, don't ask for anything. Talk about different things in life, compliment them. Lonely older ladies looking for friendship. All 3 of these ladies transferred over $300,000. How can intelligent people like that transfer $300,000? Just mind-boggling. And I sit at that table with them, and I want to cry with them. I say, oh my God, that's my mom. That's my grandma. That could have been my mom or grandma. How the heck do they do it? Because these criminals are so good. They groom them for months. Oh, and then a problem comes up. Well, I don't want you to worry about it. I got to come up with $55,000. They test them. Well, I can help you. And 55 then leads to another 55, to another whatever. And they go to the bank, and the tellers are trained, and the tellers are saying, don't do it. Listen, let me get the police. Let's check this guy out before. Well, older generation, they got a little personality. And you know what that is. Young lady, you're not going to tell me what to do with my money. And if that older person says transfer the money, guess what the teller has to do? Transfer the money. Human error. We can pick up the fact, we can sit there and tell them. Now, I will tell you, we're getting better at our communication with them, and we're able to stop a lot more of this, but it's through education to senior groups but where's the education come from? It comes from all of you in here. You need to sit down with your mom and dad and grandma and grandpa, and you need to say, you get any call about any money being transferred, you call me, Grandma, you call me, Mom, and then let me double check it before you do it. The key is you don't tell them, don't do it, okay? You don't tell your mom and dad and grandma and grandpa, don't do it. That's like a command. Psychologically and cognitively, they don't receive that. But you say, call me and we'll talk about it, and then you can decide what you want to do. And you tell them, you got to be careful. There's a lot of this, and you can give them examples. So we can help each other on the human error, because as good as we are with our AI in recognizing it, sometimes we can't get people to listen. Same thing in the workforce. Cybersecurity is nothing more than AI attempts to breach your company. And who's the biggest breachers of opening the door for the criminals? We got all these firewalls, you know. We got the Wall of China. We got all sorts of electronics. And one employee gets a little link in an email. Hey, you just won some money. And they click on it, and boom, the gateway to the company is open. But number one way, cybersecurity, ransomware, and everything isn't because of AI, it's because of human error. Now, AI delivers, but the human error interprets. So our education in that field has got to be better. Disadvantages could be costly. Cost is coming down. Chaz did a good job covering ethical questions, you know, how effective it is, you know, and what are the boundaries? Well, we have to establish boundaries for sure. Every company, every house, every use of your phone, you've got to establish boundaries. You know, there isn't a week that doesn't go by that I don't get multiple attempts to have me do something. Multiple. We are getting bombarded multiple, okay? When the criminals overseas send inquiries over, okay, they're sending 100,000 of them an hour. What's their odds? Their odds are, if I send 100,000 an hour per person from Nigeria or Romania, that room is full of 150 of the criminals who are each sending 100,000 an hour. Do the math. And you know what they say? All we got to do is hit 1% success. And we got lots of money. That's the odds that they're going with. You know, so using AI to replace human work positions, that's always going to happen. Technology is going to happen. And yes, some jobs will get replaced, but any jobs that get replaced are new jobs are created. So I'm not too concerned about it, because history has shown new jobs, old jobs, replace jobs, and that cycle is not going to quit. And we're going to have new stuff coming. One of the good things about AI for jobs is some of the AI is really replacing workforce that's non-existent or very low, meaning people don't want to do it anymore, okay? So that part is good, and it'll all balance out. You know, garbage in, garbage out. Listen, AI is all about what we put into it. You know, if you go out on chat and you get information and then it's garbage and you put it in your policy like Chaz told you, yeah, you're creating a garbage policy. But if you go out and get information, couple sources or chat, and you look through it and you filter it and you have an attorney look at it and you have your internal people look at it, it is a positive extra arm to you. But here's the problem with us reaching out, okay? to AI for information. Too many people get the information and they don't review it or look at it, and they don't use it as an update integrator to what you're doing. In the past, instead of going to a chat location to get your info, don't kid yourselves. Everybody in this room, we went and got sample policies. We went and got sample trainings. And what did we do? We took them, we looked at them, we massaged them, and we made them into our own. For some reason, a lot of people go to the chat locations and they don't review it. And I think Chaz brought it out very strongly that, hey, no, you got something. I think he said 75% good. Well, it makes it easier if only 25% is what you got to correct, but you can't just template it. So how's it change the future? I'll give you some examples. Virtual shopping, we talked about it, credit card frauds and fakes and stuff like that, and transportation. Right now, the trucking industry has a tremendous gap in truck drivers. They have created a system now where they can't get the truck drivers because of one reason. The truck drivers don't want to drive across the country, be gone for a week, and then drive back. So what AI has done, it's created vehicles, and we will in the near future see this. You will take a tractor trailer rig and a driver locally who still works for the company but doesn't have to travel with the truck. He'll drive the truck up a ramp, park it, program the computer, and that truck will drive itself across 5 states, come to another exit ramp, and another driver will pick the truck up on the exit ramp and take it into the city and do the deliveries. What does it solve? It solves the problem of the drivers having to go overnight, long distance, but they still want to work and they're still good at what they do. So once again, it's an example of how we're going to integrate the pros and cons to driving. Now, we got to be careful about this driverless vehicles, because in 2018, as I have up there, we had a driverless vehicle run over somebody and kill them, okay? I just love the commercial now. The people are driving down the highway and they're clapping their hands. To me, that's sort of like a mistake commercial. That's a little misleading, But we are going to the point where driverless. Your kids' kids will never drive a car. Just keep that in mind. We're 2 generations away at max. Your kids' kids won't drive cars. Young generation now, under 18 and younger, majority of them are not interested in getting their driver's license. They carpool, they call Uber, and that's their method. So 2 more generations, most likely, will be driverless and will be more that. Now people say, well, what did AI do? Well, they say it takes jobs away. AI created Uber, Lyft, and a whole bunch of other services. It created a whole bunch more new jobs. So you really got to look into it deep before you think we're killing that many jobs. We're just replacing jobs that are on their way out, which we've done for hundreds of years. So ride-sharing companies is big. Education, some of the education areas of AI is being abused, students and people in college having, AI write their papers for them and that. Now, as fast as a college student can write a paper and grab it from, hey, AI, create this, the schools, the colleges now can have programs that goes out and finds out if that person's paper they wrote was from a chat location. So we can counter check where the information is coming from. But generating lesson plans and study guides off basic info, that's a big help. That's not negative. It can be very helpful to high school, grade school, college. Science, this is amazing. As you see my first one there, it can capture 80 terabytes of data in one sweep of the sky with an AI control. We can't even come near that with a telescope, with a camera on it. Can't even touch it. So weather imagery, prediction, droughts, hurricanes, we can do a tremendous amount of positive prediction and things like that. So that's really good. Human resources, I'm not even going to get into it because it was covered very well by Chaz and the doctor there on the previous presentations. So now, here's something interesting, agriculture. We can harvest a lot higher volume at a faster pace with a reduction in human laborers. Yep, we're replacing some of those laborers. But a tractor can go through a field with a weed killer on it, with a camera on the back, and the camera scopes the ground as the tractor moves, and it identifies the weed, and then the back of the tractor then squirts the chemical weed killer just on that little weed. Whereas today we go through fields and we spray everything. Think about all the chemical that we save, cost reduction, and pollution, and the accuracy, and that's all AI. And that is already working here in the United States. So another, good example. Banking and financing, we can detect fraud changes. As I said, cyber criminals are not happy. They're just not happy because we're taking up and using great AI tools to make their life miserable and harder. The problem is they know the human error is what they're attacking. They're going to the front lines. They want to get that employee at work, send them an email. They want to get our parents, grandparents. They want to get us, and they want to create all these fraud stuff, create all these giveaways, create all these bonuses. AI goes out and recreates the Amazon logo, right? Or all the other Target, Walmart, and they send you, click here, Walmart's going to give you 20% off, and the logo looks good and all that. And all we have to do is simple things as, stop, don't click on that link, go to the Walmart site and see if Walmart's really giving away anything. We can take the human side and very easily verify anything that's sent to you electronically. And I'm telling you, I've been sent some stuff that I'm ready to click on. I'm convinced it's real. And then I stop and I look at it and I find out, oh my God, this is good. This is really, really good. Healthcare. My wife just had a hip replacement a year ago. Who doesn't want robotics? Robotics is all AI generated. I want to tell you, they do wonderful with hip replacements today compared to 5 years ago. Why? One reason, robotics. If you take an X-ray and you send it to a radiologist, they're highly trained. They got the eye of the tiger. They can see stuff on that X-ray. They do not even compare to an AI-generated review of an X-ray. What are we complaining about? AI is saving lives. It's making my wife's operation much more thorough and accurate. It's helping people with cancer, replacements of knees, joints, detection on all this CAT scans and everything. You still need doctors. You still need specialists to handle the process. They just don't have to handle the diagnostics. Once again, I tell people, don't complain about AI. It might be you or someone in your family that lives because of AI in the healthcare industry. Heart failure, it's tremendous for heart detection, screening for cancers, abnormalities. I mean, I can go on, but I just want to stress a very positive. Criminal justice system, you know, they're really getting into some serious stuff here. They can even do future predictabilities with people in their history and that, and we know where they need help, counseling, you know, whatever. And we got human bias in law enforcement, you know, facial reading. It's getting better. Does it have some biases? Yes, it does. Okay. It definitely has biases, all right? Now think about active shooter, just as an example. When's the last time you heard of an active shooter incident in a football stadium, baseball stadium, basketball arena? I can't tell you the last time I heard one. Now, my company, we provide security for all these kind of events, including presidential elections, and we handled the presidential debate up at Case Western. But I'm telling you, you know, people are asking me all over the United States when I talk about advancements of security. Football, basketball, baseball stadiums. Ain't seen active shooter. You go outside. 2 presidential assassination attempts on Trump, both were outside. Okay? Active shooter incident in Akron, Ohio is outside. Why? Because if we can get you to have to walk through a door, we can scan you, we can look in your purse, we can have restrictions, we have cameras, we have dogs walking around sniffing for guns, drugs, everything. We have drones up in the air, you don't even know they're there. And we put 50 to 100,000 people in a stadium. We put 100,000 in Ohio State Stadium every home game. We don't have incidents. Because when you walk into those places, AI is there. Facial recognition. What's the future? The future is a system called Evolve. And when you go to the airport, you're going to see this system on this wall, system on that wall. 100, 200 people are going to walk in the middle, and Evolve can tell us who's carrying a gun while you're walking through. And if you're carrying a gun, it throws your face up on a monitor over there, and it puts a red square around where that gun is. And they go, "Sir, I need you to come with me." And that's what they do. So in the future, you're not going to stop through TSA, you're just going to walk through. And then schools are going to have it, and everything is going to go. Think about the security advancements that we're going to have. In the jails and prisons, if a guard was working with inmates, and he got into an altercation, and a prisoner attacked him, and he went from vertical to horizontal, they would depend on someone saying, or a camera being monitored, "Hey, guard's being attacked." With AI cameras, the cameras recognize this to this and automatically call 12 people. We went from 15 to 17 minutes response in a prison for any kind of fight or attack or assault to 1.5 minutes with AI. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So, you know, we talked about the Terminator. What about drone warfare? Look at Russia and Ukraine. Russia sends over 50 drones. Ukraine sends up 25 interceptor drones. They go after the drones that are coming because they detect them coming. They have lasers on them, and they shoot the other drones out of the air. Okay? Israel. Hezbollah sends missiles over. Israel has a defense called the Dome, and they shoot the missiles before they even hit land. That's all AI technology. So we're going to get into hyper wars where it's not even going to be people. It's going to be all mechanical, all AI. Everything's going to be that way. China's invested quite a bit of money. It's blocking how much, but it's something in 150 billion. Oh, there we go. 150 billion range. And China isn't wasting any time. So we want to work about improving the job situation. We talked about written policies. And let me give you the code, and then I'll take questions. Here's the code. I don't care what you do today. You walk out of here with this, and you make sure you do it. And this is the code. You sit down with your family, and you have an agreeable verbal code. You do not put it on any kind of electronics. If you're working at work, you sit down with your employees, your key people, and you create a code. And the code is for this. You get a call at home from some family member and they need money because they're in jail, they got hurt, they're in a car accident, they're at the hospital. Honey, I love you. What do you need? Grandma, Dad, Mom, I need $5,000 wired tomorrow morning. That's great, honey, we love you. What's the code? You have an agreeable code, and that code tells you that's authentic. Okay? And if they go, oh man, oh yeah, I know we had a code, I can't remember it. Oh, I'm so nervous. I'm sitting here, I'm in the hospital, I got an IV in me. Honey, what's the code? I can't remember it. I'm here to tell you it's false. That's a scam. Same thing with work. Hey, I'm the boss. I'm wiring it. Hey, I'm on payroll. Hey, I'm in finance. We need to send $25,000, $50,000, $10,000 to this company immediately. You know I'm down here in North Carolina on vacation. No problem, Mr. Dimoff. What's the code? Oh, yeah, I remember about 3 months ago we did that. Shoot, I can't remember. Just remember, every family and every business has to have a code. You have a code, you don't have to worry about all the AI electronics in the world. I guarantee it. We started this about 6 months ago across the country, and we are getting tremendous feedback that the code works. Why does it work? Human nature trumps all the technology in the world. That's why. Okay, I'm going to stop there. Questions?
Great, thanks, Tim. Yep, we have a couple of questions. Are cyber criminals using ChatGPT to implant viruses or otherwise get inlets to company data? What are you seeing in your practice?
Criminals will utilize anything and everything that they believe comes back to a business or a person. It doesn't matter what it is, what variation. They will use anything that connects to the business or an individual on, their phone or personal computer. So yes, anything that connects to you can be used and is used.
Great. Our next question is, can you talk about active shooter? How can we protect our educational institutions without making them look like fortresses?
Great question. We do a tremendous amount of schools and churches and businesses, but the thing with the schools is You need to have a unified effort on how you're going to protect your school. That includes physical, which doesn't have to stand out and look like Fort Knox. It's a process of how people get in and out of that building. And there's simple ways to control the in and out of that building. And the second piece is all schools, all businesses, all churches, all nonprofits, everything. You need to have a physical security analysis done of your building inside and out, and you need to firm up the weaknesses of that physical security. And last, it's training, 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 because under pressure, someone chasing you down the hall with a crowbar or a gun or a knife, you better have a thought of what your response is going to be, and you can't wait till you're under stress to make that decision. That's why we train police officers 7 times a year on use of force, on use of their tasers, on their guns, on everything that they carry, because we call it muscle memory. We want them to respond to the way they've been trained. If I train you now, when the stress happens, you'll know what to do. And I know if I got a minute, I'm going to give you all another real good example. What would everybody individually do right now? You're at a red light. Someone comes, opens your car door on the passenger side, jumps in, points a gun or a knife at you and says, "You better do what the hell I say or I'll kill you." Does anybody in here really have a game plan of what they're going to do? Majority of you, probably not. I'm going to tell you what you're going to do. And forever, you're going to do it this way, and you need to go home tonight again and tell your kids and your loved ones, this is what you do. They jump in a car with a weapon or no weapon, and they threaten you. What's the key to the crime? People go, the criminal, the gun, the knife, the threat. No. The key to the crime is what? The car. So from now on, anybody jumps in your car and threatens you, you floor the accelerator, you hit a car, a truck, a fire hydrant, a tree, a light pole, you crash the car. Just like that. They jump in, drive, boom, smash. Is that criminal going to sit here and have a discussion with you about why the hell did you do that? No, I think they're going to leave the car. They want to get out of there because here comes the police, the fire, the paramedics, and people. Guess what? You get saved because you don't want to go driving to 10 banks, go someplace, get raped or hit or assaulted. You wreck the car. You're not going to die. You got an airbag. They're not going to shoot or kill you. They're going to leave. The crime opportunity is over. I had a mother call me a month and a half ago. I told her, I was out in Nevada giving a talk. She called me crying because she said, I went home, I told my daughter. A week later, at a shopping center, a guy jumped in the car. She smashed in the car. The guy got out of the car. The mother said things. It works. And the reason it'll work now, you already have a mindset now in your head of what you're going to do on a carjacking. Before I told you that, you would be in that driver's seat going, oh, God, what the hell do I do? Oh, I'm scared to death. No, you don't have to anymore. Preset to do what you're going to do. Same thing in the schools. Know what you're going to do. Okay, another question?
Okay, so what is your policy on teaching students or employees how to effectively use AI? Would you rather do that, or would you just ban it altogether? And we were talking about this at dinner last night, where some schools are embracing AI and some have a strict policy against the use of AI.
Yeah. AI is here. It's not going away. I think we need to get back to 2 things. Train them on the basic use of it, the proper use. I think the previous speakers, and I know the next speaker is going to talk about it probably, what is the proper way to use it? What should your limits be? And the second thing is no one's bringing up the human nature of using it. The human nature is important. Start to train our kids, our students, to understand the human side of it, not falling for every link, the practical side, knowing that AI has good and bad, but don't bank on it and don't depend on it 100%.
Great. Thank you so much, Tim. Let's give Tim a big round of applause. Thank you, Tim.